Welcome back, deep divers. Ready for another fascinating plunge into the depths of knowledge?
Always. What are we exploring today?
Today, we're tackling something truly universal, something that has captivated humanity since, well, the dawn of humanity. Religious beliefs and practices.
Ooh, ambitious. Where are we starting?
We'll be journeying across different cultures and eras, from ancient rituals to modern movements. We'll be using DK's The Religions book as our guide, covering primal beliefs, ancient religions, and even modern ones.
Sounds like quite a journey.
It is, and like all good journeys, we begin at the beginning, with those primal beliefs that formed the foundation of it all. You know me, I love a good origin story. And the book kicks off with a fascinating one. The Zamsan Bushmen of southern Africa and their belief in something called the dreaming.
The dreaming. Sounds intriguing.
It is. They believe their god, Kagan, literally dreamt the world into being. Imagine that the entire world as a manifestation of a divine dream.
Whoa, that's a powerful concept. It makes you wonder how seeing the world as a dream would affect how you live in it.
Right. Would you feel more connected to nature, more in tune with the spiritual realm?
Absolutely. And speaking of the spiritual realm, the book tells this amazing story about Cabo. He was a mantis's man among the sand people.
A mantis's man? What's that?
Well, they believed he could enter this dreamlike state to do incredible things, like make it rain, heal the sick, or even influence a hunt. It's almost like having a direct line to the supernatural.
Wow. It makes you think of shamanic traditions in other cultures, that ability to walk between worlds. Speaking of which, the book then talks about the Ainu people of Japan and their belief in something called kamui.
Ah, yes, the kamui. The Ainu believe that everything has a spirit. And I mean everything. Trees, rocks, even tools.
So it's not just about respecting your elders, you have to respect your coffee mug too.
Pretty much. The book even mentions a special ceremony they have, the Iwak Day, for broken tools.
Really?
It's about honoring the spirit within the object, even when the object itself is no longer useful.
That's a beautiful expression of gratitude and interconnectedness.
It is. And it reminds me of another culture with a rich shamanic tradition. The Sami people of Scandinavia. The book talks about them too.
Oh yeah, the Sami shamans. What makes them so unique?
Well, they use drums to enter a trance and journey to other worlds, acting as mediators between humans and the spirits. And, this idea of a shaman as a spiritual traveler isn't unique to the Sami. We see similar figures in other cultures too, like the Benedonti in Italy or even the Norse god Odin.
It's incredible how these threads connect different cultures and beliefs. It makes you wonder if we're not so different after all,
Absolutely. We're all searching for meaning and connection.
Okay, before we move on to ancient religions, there's one more primal belief system I want to touch on. The Maori of New Zealand and their myth on the origin of death.
Ah, yes. A powerful story. It involves the god Tain and his daughter, Hainekitama. Their forbidden love leads to the separation of light and darkness, and ultimately to the inevitability of death for all humans.
It's a myth that really gets to the heart of the human experience, doesn't it? We're born into the light, but eventually we all journey toward the darkness.
It's a cycle that's fascinated and terrified humans for as long as we've been around.
And that quest for understanding, for meaning, in the face of life's mysteries, is something we'll see reflected in the more formalized religions we're going to explore next.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, so we've explored those primal belief systems, the roots of it all. Now, get ready to step back in time as we journey through ancient and classical civilizations to see how their beliefs really shaped their societies.
It's amazing to consider how religion was woven into almost every aspect of life back then. Everything from their social structures to their architecture.
Absolutely. And our book highlights some truly captivating examples. Let's start with Mesoamerica, the Mayan and Aztec civilizations specifically. Brace yourself, because things are about to get pretty intense. We're talking about blood sacrifice.
I know that might sound shocking to us now, but for the Mayans and Aztecs, it was vital. They believed the universe needed constant nourishment. And what better offering than blood? The very life force itself.
And it wasn't just animals they were sacrificing. The book talks about auto-sacrifice, too, piercing themselves with stingray spines, obsidian blades, even thorns from the maguey plant. Can you imagine the dedication?
Yeah, it was seen as a profound act of piety, a way to offer a piece of themselves to the gods and ensure the world continued. Of course, there were human sacrifices, too, often on a huge scale, all tied in with their complex ritual calendar.
The book even mentions these sawali dough figures mixed with blood and eaten as part of rituals. It's fascinating how food played such a central role in their spiritual practices.
Yeah, it makes you think about that symbolism, right? Consuming something sacred, bringing the divine into yourself. This idea of food as a bridge between the physical and spiritual comes up in so many religions.
Okay, let's shift gears now. From the intensity of Mesoamerican rituals to the grandeur of ancient Egypt. I mean, you think of ancient Egypt, you can't help but think of pyramids, mummies, and their whole elaborate belief system about the afterlife.
Yeah, their focus on the afterlife was all-encompassing. They believed in this perfect existence waiting for them in Aru, the field of reeds, and they went to extraordinary lengths to prepare for it.
And it wasn't just about preserving the body. The book talks about how they believed a complete person consisted of like 6 things: the body, name, shadow, the ka, the bad, and the ak. It seems like they had a very intricate understanding of the soul, with each element playing a role in the afterlife.
Each element was crucial for that successful transition into the afterlife.
Yeah.
And they even had a guide, the Book of the Dead. It's full of spells and instructions to navigate the underworld.
Like the ultimate afterlife survival guide. The book even mentions a spell for not dying again. Talk about thorough. They really thought of everything.
The Egyptians were meticulous, that's for sure. From the mummification process to their elaborate tombs filled with provisions, their entire lives revolved around preparing for what came next. But let's move on. How about we journey to ancient Persia now and delve into Zoroastrianism, one of the earliest monotheistic religions?
Okay, Zoroastrianism, what makes it so unique?
Well, Zoroastrianism, founded by the prophet Zoroaster, introduced the concept of a single god, Ahura Mazda, who represents good and is locked in this eternal battle against Angra Mainyu, the embodiment of evil. It's this cosmic struggle between light and darkness, good versus evil.
That's a really powerful concept that has influenced so many religions that came after. You can see it in Christianity, for example, with God and Satan. It's amazing how these ancient beliefs still resonate with us today.
Absolutely. Zoroastrianism's impact is undeniable. It challenged the polytheistic norms of its time and shaped the development of religious thought for centuries. And to wrap up this section on ancient religions, let's travel to Japan and explore Shinto.
Shinto, I've always found it fascinating. It's all about harmony with nature, right?
Exactly. Shinto emphasizes a deep reverence for the natural world and the spirits, the kami, that inhabit it. These kami are everywhere, in mountains, trees, rivers, even ancestral spirits.
The book describes these purification rituals they perform at shrines and temples, all about cleansing themselves of sumi, impurities. It seems like that idea of purity, both physically and spiritually, is at the heart of their beliefs.
Purity is paramount. They seek harmony with nature and the kami through rituals, offerings, and living in a way that honors the sacredness of everything around them.
So from the intensity of those Mesoamerican rituals to the intricate beliefs of the Egyptians and the harmony-seeking practices of Shinto, we've seen some truly diverse expressions of religion in these ancient civilizations.
Yeah, and it's amazing how each one grappled with life's big mysteries in their own unique way, leaving legacies that continue to fascinate and inspire us. But our journey doesn't end here.
We've explored those ancient belief systems and the grand religions of these ancient civilizations. Now hold on tight, because we're about to fast forward into the modern world.
It's amazing how, even with so much change in the world, the human need for meaning and purpose never really goes away.
That's so true. And you know, religion seems to find a way to adapt and evolve, even giving rise to completely new belief systems in the process.
It's constantly finding new ways to connect with people, isn't it?
Yeah. And our book dives into some truly compelling examples of this. First up, we're heading to the Punjab region of India to explore Sikhism.
Ah, Sikhism. It emerged during a time of intense conflict between Hindus and Muslims. Imagine a world where those divisions are so strong. And into that world, Guru Nanak, the founder of Sikhism, steps in. He asks this radical question: there is no Hindu or Muslim, so whose path should I follow? I shall follow the path of God.
That's a powerful statement. It's like he's transcending those existing divides and creating a new way.
That's exactly what he did. Guru Nanak's teachings really emphasized the oneness of God, the equality of all people, and the importance of selfless service. It was a big departure from the rigid social structures and religious exclusivity of his time.
Now, the book mentions the Khalsa order, created by Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Sikh Guru. They're described as embodying this ideal of the saint soldier.
The Khalsa are expected to cultivate spiritual discipline, meditation, devotion, while at the same time being ready to defend their faith and fight against injustice.
It's a fascinating combination, isn't it? Inner peace and strength working together.
It's a commitment to both spiritual growth and social justice.
Like a warrior for good, in a way. The book also talks about the 5 vices Sikhs strive to overcome: lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. And then there's the adoption of Singh, meaning lion, for men, and Kaur, meaning princess, for women as their last names.
It's all about shedding those limiting identities and embracing a more empowered self.
Okay, from the warrior spirit of Sikhism, let's shift gears now to a religion that arose from a blend of cultures. Santeria. It developed in Cuba, combining West African Yoruba traditions with Catholicism.
It's a perfect example of what's called syncretism. It's where different belief systems come together to create something new. In this case, enslaved Africans in Cuba brought their Yoruba religion with them and blended it with the dominant Catholic faith.
It's incredible how they found a way to hold on to their heritage while navigating a new reality.
And it speaks to the resilience of the human spirit. Santeria isn't alone in this. The book mentions other examples like Candomblé in Brazil, Voodoo in Haiti, and Rastafari in Jamaica.
Oh, these vibrant examples of how religions adapt and evolve, finding ways to thrive.
Right, and it's a testament to that human need to connect, to find meaning, even in the face of challenges.
All right, last but not least, we're heading to the United States. The book introduces us to Mormonism, which claims to expand upon Christian scripture.
The story of Mormonism starts with Joseph Smith, Jr., who claimed to have discovered these golden plates containing the Book of Mormon. For Mormons, this book is another testament of Jesus Christ, adding to the existing Christian Bible.
So it's like a new chapter in the Christian narrative. What kind of stories and teachings does the Book of Mormon contain?
Well, it introduces a unique American mythology with stories of ancient prophets who traveled to the Americas.
Wow, we've covered some serious ground in this deep dive. From those early primal beliefs, to the intricate rituals of ancient empires, to the rise of new religious movements in the modern era, what a journey.
It really showcases the vast spectrum of human religious expression. And yet, amidst all the differences, there's a common thread. That human desire for meaning, that search for purpose and connection.
It makes you realize that religion, no matter the form it takes, is ultimately about trying to answer those big questions about life. Where did we come from? What happens after we die? What is our purpose in this vast universe?
Those questions have been with us for as long as we've been around, haven't they?
Yeah. As we wrap up this deep dive, I really hope you've gained some new insights, some new perspectives about the nature of belief, its impact on humanity, on culture, and on history.
We encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning. There's a whole world of belief systems out there waiting to be discovered.
That's right. And who knows what aha moments might be waiting for you out there.